Don't skip this, because the story you're about to hear doesn't begin with a murder. It begins with something much worse. Silence. A quiet suburban night. A house that felt completely safe. And a man who learned how to turn that feeling into a weapon. Before we start, imagine this. You're asleep. Your breathing is slow. The house is dark. Nothing feels wrong. Until you wake up, not fully. Just enough to feel that someone is watching you. And when your eyes finally open, you realize someone is already inside your room. Standing there, waiting. And the worst part, he didn't break in. He walked in. Because he had already been inside your home before. Learning it, studying it, practicing. This is the story of a man who spent years rehearsing fear. And for decades, no one knew who he was. California, early 1970s. Suburban life looked perfect. People left doors unlocked. Neighbors trusted each other. Kids played outside without fear. But something strange started happening. Homes were being entered quietly, not robbed violently. Just entered. Drawers opened. Items moved. Small personal things taken. Nothing that made sense. At first, police assumed it was a petty thief. But something about the crimes felt wrong. Too careful. Too personal. Almost intimate. Imagine discovering someone had walked through your home, looked at your photos, opened your bedroom drawers, and left without you ever knowing. That was happening over and over again. And nobody realized yet that they were watching the birth of a predator. Because these weren't burglaries. They were rehearsals. He wasn't stealing. He was learning. Learning how homes breathe at night. Learning where shadows fall. Learning how long it takes someone to wake from deep sleep. Learning fear before fear even existed. And then, he escalated. One night, a father heard noises outside his daughter's bedroom window. He stepped outside. Gunshots echoed. He never made it back inside. The attacker vanished. And for a moment, the crime stopped, which sounds like relief. But it wasn't, because what actually happened was evolution. A year later, Sacramento, another quiet neighborhood, another family who thought nothing bad could happen here. A woman woke up in the middle of the night. She felt movement, a presence, then a voice. "I have a gun." That sentence changed everything. The man tied her hands with shoelaces he brought himself. Every movement felt practiced, rehearsed, controlled. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't rushed. He knew exactly what he was doing. And the most terrifying part? He had already been inside her home before that night, moving objects, learning the layout, planning. This wasn't chaos. This was precision. Police initially thought the attack might be isolated. Then it happened again, and again, and again. Soon, the media gave him a name, the East Area Rapist. But the name didn't make him easier to find. It just made fear easier to spread. People started sleeping with lights on. Dogs barked at shadows. Gun stores sold out. Neighborhood watch groups formed overnight. And still, he kept coming. Because he wasn't choosing houses randomly. He was choosing people. He stalked neighborhoods beforehand, watched routines, learned schedules. Some victims even received strange phone calls before attacks. Heavy breathing, whispers, silence. Imagine answering your phone and hearing nothing, only to realize later that someone was testing your voice, testing your fear. One detail disturbed investigators more than anything else. After tying up couples, he placed dishes on the back of the male partner. "If you move," he warned, "they'll break." It meant he didn't need to watch constantly. Fear enforced obedience, psychological warfare, and it worked. Survivors described him as calm, methodical, almost clinical. But then came something no one expected. Some victims said he cried, soft sobbing, childlike. Why would someone capable of such calculated control suddenly sound vulnerable? Was it real emotion, or another layer of manipulation? That question would haunt investigators for decades. The attacks increased, dozens of them. He adapted faster than police could react. If patrols increased, he changed locations. If media coverage intensified, he paused. He studied the investigation itself. Some detectives began to suspect something terrifying. What if he knew police procedures? Because he was one of them. And then, without warning, the attack stopped. No arrest, no explanation, He disappeared. Communities slowly exhaled, but far away. Something worse began. Couples were found murdered inside their homes. Bound. Executed. No forced entry. The same eerie control. The same silent approach. But because agencies didn't share information effectively at the time, nobody connected the cases immediately. The media gave this killer another name. The original Night Stalker. 2 identities. 1 predator. And the escalation from assault to murder marked something deeply chilling. He was evolving, growing more confident, more dangerous, more final. Fear spread again. Security systems increased. People installed bars on windows, but he still slipped inside homes without detection. Because he didn't attack randomly, he hunted. And then, once again, he vanished. Years passed, decades even. Cases went cold. Evidence gathered dust. Families waited. Some believed justice would never come, until technology changed everything. DNA. Investigators linked crimes once thought unrelated. The East Area Rapist. The original Night Stalker. One person. One long nightmare. But identifying him still seemed impossible, until detectives tried something radical. Instead of searching for him directly, they searched for his relatives. Genealogy databases allowed investigators to trace distant family connections through DNA. Slowly, painstakingly, the suspect pool narrowed. Branches eliminated. Names crossed off, until one name remained. Joseph James D'Angelo, former police officer, living quietly in suburbia. An ordinary man, which made it even more terrifying, because evil didn't look like a monster. It looked like a neighbor. Detectives watched him. He rode his bike, worked in his yard. Nothing seemed unusual, until they collected DNA from discarded trash. Lab results came back. Match. After decades of fear, the ghost had a face. In April 2018, officers arrested him outside his home. Neighbors watched in disbelief. An elderly man in handcuffs. Not the monster they imagined, just someone ordinary. And maybe that's the most terrifying truth of all. Because the most dangerous people don't always look dangerous. Sometimes they look like everyone else. And sometimes they've been standing quietly in the background for years, waiting.